So Caitlin Clark is one of the best and well-known basketball players on the planet right now. And this past offseason, she worked really hard to add 8 pounds of muscle to her frame to give her an additional edge on the offensive and defensive ends of the court. And it clearly paid off because she was able to finish around the rim better and play tougher on-ball defense against bigger guards. Now, a lot of athletes that I work with have similar struggles when they're very lean and need to gain weight and gain muscle, but they really don't know how to go about doing it the right way. So in this video, we're going to talk about some simple strategies that you can use to help you gain lean body mass and muscle. Hi, my name is Tim DeLeo. I'm a licensed sports dietitian. Welcome to my channel, Sport Nutrition Academy, where our goal is to transform the lives and performance of athletes everywhere. Now, gaining weight isn't rocket science, but a lot of athletes really struggle and get frustrated when they're trying to gain weight simply because they aren't following these basic principles of nutrition and overall consistency. So we'll take a deep dive into each of these fundamental principles. That way you can start applying them to your own daily habits and start gaining weight and building lean muscle that will help you on the court. So to start off, a lot of athletes, when they're trying to gain weight, will follow things that they see on social media or TikTok, talking about, bulking season, dirty bulking, where you're just eating all kinds of food, force feeding yourself to try to gain as much muscle and weight as possible. And that simply doesn't work because the body can only build muscle at a certain rate that's genetically determined for you. So there's no real need to bulk or dirty bulk, because all you're going to end up doing is adding unwanted body fat to your frame. And you're just going to have to end up dieting to lose that body fat off. And that extra weight certainly not going to help you be effective on the court. So keeping in mind that it's going to be a slow game, this is a marathon, not a sprint, we can focus on these principles to gain about 0.5 pound to 1 pound per week. So first and foremost, we have to look at calories in, calories out, because this is going to determine if we're actually gaining weight and building muscle. So in order to gain weight and build muscle, you have to be in what's called a calorie surplus, which means you're eating slightly more than what you are burning each day. And this is going to ensure that your body has the building blocks to rebuild and build new muscle tissue and add weight to your frame. So think of it like a bank account. When you're exercising and working out, you are spending money and withdrawing money from the bank. And when you're eating food and drinks, you're depositing money into your bank. At the end of the day, we need to have more money in the bank, so more money deposited than what you have withdrawn. So we're saving money in order for your body to actually build and grow muscle. So to do this, again, we don't need to be doing dirty bulking and just force feeding ourselves. We only need to be eating a surplus of 500 calories per day. So you add that 500 calories to what you're already doing. And for the most part, that should be enough of a surplus to kickstart your weight gain and muscle growth. And then as you continue to gain weight, you slightly increase that surplus a little bit more, because now you have a bigger body frame that is going to require more calories. And that's going to bring us to the next fundamental principle, which is that you have to be eating often throughout the day. If we're skipping meals throughout the day, say like not eating breakfast like a lot of my high school and college athletes do, if we're going 4, 5, 6 hours between meals, that is not ideal for trying to gain weight and build muscle, because we need to have that calorie surplus. So missing meals, going long stretches of time without eating, it's going to make it really difficult for you to get that calorie surplus that you need on a consistent basis. So we need to make sure that we're eating very consistently every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day, not skipping any meals. And we need to be doing that every single day, not just 2 or 3 days out of the week. It's got to be every single day. This will also prevent you from having to force feed yourself and just feel like you're going to barf after eating just large quantities at a meal, because all your food will be spaced out throughout the day, allowing your body time to digest and process the food that you've eaten. So now that we're eating consistently throughout the day, we need to make sure that we're getting enough protein, because protein is going to help us to build more muscle. We don't need to be eating an excessive amount of protein, but typically we like to shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should try to aim for 150 grams of protein for that day. If you weigh 180 pounds, you should be aiming for 180 grams of protein for the day. That will ensure that you have enough protein in your system for muscle repair and muscle rebuilding, as opposed to not eating enough protein and your body doesn't have those building blocks to be able to do that and add muscle to your frame. Now, this next fundamental piece is something that a lot of athletes that I work with don't currently do, and it's usually one of the first things that we start with, assuming that they have their eating schedule and protein in place, and that is to add liquid calories to their meals in place of drinking water. So again, the goal is to consume enough calories for the day. For some athletes, eating a lot of extra food at their meals, even though it's spaced out, is difficult to do. And liquids are often easier because liquids are going to digest a little bit quicker. It doesn't feel like a lot of work having to drink a liquid versus eating another piece of chicken or eating another scoop of rice. So liquid calories can be a really effective way to add some extra nutrition to your day. And we know that water, while it does hydrate very well, does not have any calories. So we might as well make our liquids work for us, especially if you're typically drinking water at a meal. We can just make a swap and do a smoothie, a protein drink, a milk, chocolate milk, a 100% juice, something that's also going to provide hydration, but provide calories as well. Smoothies and shakes can be a great option here because we can really pack in a lot of calories and nutrition into those things. And again, they're really easy to drink and digest. So I've had a strategy with some athletes where we'll alternate between doing solid food meals and then liquid high calorie shake meals because it just is easier on their stomach. Another strategy could be to incorporate a high calorie shake, protein shake at night, like an hour or so before you go to bed. That's a good way to get a lot of calories and help your body repair and recover while you sleep. So now we have a consistent eating schedule. We're eating enough protein. We're maybe layering in some liquid calories at our meals to make sure that we're able to get our calorie surplus for the day. The other thing that we want to be thinking about is not relying on too many highly processed foods like your, Oreos, Pop-Tarts, pizzas, fried food, things like that, that yes, they do have a lot of calories and can help you get into a surplus, but those are really unhealthy foods that eating large quantities of those and eating them consistently throughout the week is only likely to gain or only likely to make you add excess body fat as opposed to building, lean muscle without that extra weight. A lot of those foods are very inflammatory as well. So as an athlete, we're trying to promote things that are going to help you recover and make your body feel great. So we really don't want to be eating a lot of these highly processed fried foods throughout the week. Next, we want to make sure that our, weight gain and muscle gain program has a solid foundation of those nutrition principles before we start looking to add in supplements. So a lot of times when I first start working with athletes who are trying to gain weight and build muscle, the first thing that they're asking me is, what supplement can I take to help me achieve this goal? And that is the wrong way to think about it. We need to be focusing on the nutrition piece first, the calorie surplus, the consistency of eating throughout the day, doing those things every single day throughout the week, getting enough protein before we can even talk about adding in supplements. So without those strong fundamentals in place being the base of our pyramid, supplements are not going to do anything to help us build muscle and gain weight. But assuming you have all those fundamentals in place, one supplement that I typically do recommend for athletes to help them with muscle building and weight gain is creatine monohydrate. There's a lot of research done on creatine monohydrate. It is very safe. It is very effective in increasing strength and power for athletes. So if that fuel source can help us, lift a little bit more weight or do a couple of extra reps in the weight room, then that's definitely going to help send the stimulus to the body to increase and build that muscle mass that we're looking for. But again, creatine is not a magical supplement. It is not a steroid. It works in conjunction with having a strong nutritional foundation. And then lastly, it really comes down to consistency with everything that I just talked about. If you're only eating in a calorie surplus 2 or 3 days out of the week, if you're only eating on a consistent schedule, not skipping meals, a couple of days out of the week, if you're only getting your protein, on Monday, but not eating enough protein on Tuesday, those are not going to be habits that are going to be producing results for you in terms of gaining muscle and weight. These things have to be very consistent. We need to be doing them day after day after day after day for weeks and weeks and months to actually see results in terms of putting muscle and weight onto your frame. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other tips for weight gain or muscle building, please leave them in the comments below. Would love to hear about things that you've done that have worked. And if you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel as we try to get the best sport nutrition information out to athletes everywhere. Thanks.